Alrighty, g'day everybody, it's the Doga! It is now time for the next installment of the AC/DC album review series. Today we've hit an album that will be, or is, 40 years old. We have now arrived at 1983's Flick of the Switch album. This album, of course, was, much like Back in Black, recorded in the Bahamas, and was the last album for a 12-year period to feature Phil Rudd on drums. He was replaced for the Flick of the Switch tour by Simon Wright. And speaking of Phil Rudd, today, the 19th of May, is also Phil Rudd's 69th birthday. So we can get a happy birthday in the comments, but not that he'll ever see that anyway. But I thought I'd just bring that up anyway. Anyway, we've got 10 really good tracks, and this is one of my, if not it is my favourite Brian Johnson era AC/DC album. We kick off with Rising Power. Like how it starts off with a nasty snare hit, and the riff comes in and just blows out your speakers every time. Brian starts to sound a bit, I don't know, his voice is starting to change a little from what it sounded like on the previous two albums, but it's still pretty good. You've got This House Is On Fire. A great live performance of that can be seen on the third disc of Plug Me In. And of course you can also find it on backtracks as well. And of course you've got the title track, which was, I don't think it was a single in the US, but it was here, and I believe in the UK as well. As was the next track, Nervous Shakedown. Probably the only really big single off the album, even though this album wasn't exactly a commercial success, which is a shame though. Maybe it's down to the production, but the band were determined to get back to what they had been doing prior to Highway to Hell. And why not? Landslide closes out side one, and this is probably the fastest song in the band's back catalogue, apart from Rocker, I guess. There is a recording from the Flick of the Switch tour of this that you can find on YouTube. It's also on my playlist of rare and unique AC/DC performances. Be sure to check that out if you haven't already. And side two opens with my favourite Brian Johnson AC/DC song, that being Guns for Hire. Was a single in most countries, but not here, probably due to censorship issues. Wouldn't have a clue though, but nonetheless, it's still my favourite from this album and my favourite Brian Johnson AC/DC song. Although it does get annoying when you watch the band rehearse it in October of 1983. Where they do it like 6 times, I think. And Deep in the Hole, which is probably my least favourite from the album. But it's hard to pick a least favourite from this album because it has its fan base. It seems to definitely be growing in popularity in the last 10 years or so. It was considered to be one of their least favourite albums, but now it seems to be getting up there as one of the favourites by the hardcore fan base. And Bedlam in Belgium is the next track, inspired by a riot that of course took place in 1977. I'm sure many of the hardcore fans know exactly what happened, but we'll not go into details about that. And of course, the album closes out with 2 brilliant numbers. You've got Badlands, with probably one of the most unique riffs that the band had put together at this particular point. Definitely one of my favourites up there. And Brain Shake, which was the Australian B-side of Nervous Shakedown, with the UK receiving Rock and Roll Late Noise Pollution live as their B-side. This, up until Rock or Bust in 2015, was the band's shortest album, just under 37 minutes, depending on what CD version you have. And for me, I'm probably going to be biased, but I'm going to say it's a 10 out of 10. Every single song on this album is just brilliant. I know a lot of the hardcore fans have started to like it more, and it doesn't have the commercial appeal of Back in Black, but in my opinion, this is right up there with it. Either way, just a simple little review. Thank you very much for viewing. Be sure to like, comment down below on your opinion of the album. If you're new, subscribe to the Be a Good Dogger YouTube channel. The album review series will continue off eventually. So until next time, this is the Doga saying have a wonderful day. Happy birthday to Phil Rudd. and I shall see you again.